Okie doke, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's live stream. This is going to be every Monday thing. It's going to be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about your business. And if you have any questions about our business, this is where we're going to answer those questions every single week. Isn't that right?
That is correct. So yeah, you'll have to know as people start funneling in here. You will have to let us know how the quality of the stream is coming in. We'd like to know from you guys and from your end. Like Roy mentioned, we're in our new studio here.
Yep. Oh, hopefully you all like it.
Yes.
You like this new studio. So, and so this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be an every Monday thing where we help you with your business and business questions and things like that. Every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then for everybody who's watching this on the replay, and we'll get to saying hi to everybody who's in the live chat. We see you guys showing up here. We'll get to y'all, say hello here in just a second. What we will be doing in these live streams is for a super chat donation of $25 or more. We will review your business, whether it be your website, your Etsy page, Facebook, thing like that. We will review that live for you and give you helpful tips and advice. Give you some feedback on what you can do better and those sort of things. So
yes. So also, if you're new to the channel, we are primarily blacksmithing. That's Roy's profession. But we also delve into business. And we have quite a few business videos as well. Yep,
quite a few indeed. We'll go over those here in a little bit. Yes. So, but well, let's take some chats here, talk to people. So,
yeah, sure.
So, hey, Bodie from BTB Presents. Good to see you in the house. Ben Toombs, hi. For the Honor Forge, hello. Juan Andreas, hello. Ben Toombs again.
Didn't have a business, but you enjoy learning.
Good to have you, Ben Toombs, regardless. So, George Mule, hello. Dustin Dixon, hello again. And for On the Forge, so.
Oh, you got to remember to speak a little quieter.
Sorry.
Roy gets a little carried away.
I get a little carried away. Part of it is I don't hear low tones, and so I can't hear myself talk when I talk too low. So
I can also make it.
Okay, she can pull down the little hot bar. So sorry, we're coming in a little hot there. Let's turn this down just a bit. Hopefully this will be a wee better.
That should help.
So Lynn Badsten, good to have you on board. So thank you all for showing up at this live stream. So this is going to be our very first business live stream that we're doing. We hope this will get kind of contagious and you guys will bring us your business questions and things like that. We get a lot of questions around the blacksmithing business throughout the week and month and pretty much all year. So so we're hoping you guys will really find this helpful. So see, seems a little dark to me, huh? Pickle Hammer Forge said, "Dang, look at y'all. Professional looking and stuff." Nice setup.
Thank you.
Everybody says it's a little dark. Well, we can always change that to a different color. We can go to green.
Make it bright.
Yep, make it bright green. So hopefully everybody likes that. So howdy Loof. So one of the things we wanted to talk about this evening is about how business is changing or it's evolving. And it is starting to get, we need to constantly be progressing forward in business. And this is something that we really hope to be able to, I hope to express my thoughts on this quite a bunch. It used to be a brick and mortar business would cost you thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started. You'd have to go to a bank, get a loan, get a setup,
or save up quite a while out of your own pocket.
Yeah, save up a whole bunch of money just to even take a stab at doing business. And the way that the internet and the way that technology is working now is that just about any goober sitting in their living room like we are here on our new studio set can run a business.
Yeah, a home-based business.
A home-based business. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and some people will say, well, that's not real business because it's not in a brick or mortar establishment. But I counter the argument that it is a real business. It just doesn't have the insane overhead that a regular business has. So if you haven't even given any thought to running your own business, or you know, paying for your own tools, you know, and being able to do that sort of thing, you know, it's usually because of that old dinosaur archaic mindset that is, I'm proud to say, is dying. It's going away. Of that you got to have this 9 to 5, you got to have this brick and mortar business that you have to show up to religiously every single day.
Yep.
You know, and you're subjected to how much foot traffic you get through the door. Those old adages of like location, that garbage is going out the window. You know, you can run a business from, you know, some little tiny igloo at the North Pole down to the South Pole to wherever you want to go on the face of this earth, as long as you have an internet connection. And so that's where the businesses are going.
Yes, definitely. We actually have a little story from this from last week, and we were needing to buy some new gear, and we were trying to decide whether we actually went to go and buy it in person at a store location or just purchase it online. And so about 2 months ago, we were looking for gear as well. And we actually went to Best Buy, we went to a camera store, we went to, I don't know, like 3 or 4 different places to get told, no, they don't have it in stock. They could order it online and have it brought into location and provide it to us that way. And we're like, why do that? We could just order it online ourselves.
So, and that's what we end up doing. And some of those companies, they're paying thousands upon thousands of dollars a month to be in that location. And most people are just flipping out the smartphone. Everybody's got one, you know. They're just flipping out the smartphone and buying it. Yeah. You know, buying it themselves and having it shipped direct to home. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind for your blacksmithing business or your regular, you know, an art business or whatever type of business you're in. So let's take a few questions, Jess.
Sure.
Well, go ahead. You read them all there.
For the Honored Forge, he says, so holdovers of the Industrial Revolution are on the way out.
Pretty much, they're dead and gone. And if they're not dead yet, they're dying. So you know, it's on the way out. That kind of business mentality, you kind of have to get with the times because you know the next generation, they're on their smartphones. The next generations, they're connected. They're LinkedIn. They're on Facebook. They're on Snapchat. They're on Instagram. They're on all these places, and that's where you have to market to them. Is where the customer's at. And in fact, in the world we're living in now, it almost alienates people to have to walk into a store and buy a real item. I'm a bit of a dinosaur myself. I actually enjoy doing that to a degree if they have it, but a lot of stores don't. They just don't carry it. They can order it for you. If I can go into a blacksmith shop or a blacksmith depot or something like that, if they had like a store, like a big old superstore like Walmart, you'd never get me out of the place, right? Like I would love to do that, but you can't do that anymore.
Right.
And you know,
it's just such a massive amount of products that it's not possible for any store to hold all of them. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Somebody was saying, Dustin Dixon said, was wondering why you didn't have your 3 at 3. So Jessica forgot to schedule one today. Yes, I did. I've been busy setting up this live stream all day. We've been doing all sorts of tests. If you've been at any of our previous live streams, you'll have noticed that we did have a little bit of audio issues in the past with some crackling. We were able to clear that up, and but it's taken all day to get that figured out. So
pretty much.
But yes, I did forget that. But for about the next week, you will see our 3 at 3s in our previous studio setup, which is just our living room.
Yeah, brown living room.
The brown paneling there. And so in about a week, you'll see those change to this new setup here. Yeah.
Good evening, Mother. So my mom's on the live chat. Everybody say hello to my mom out there, Angelie Adams. So yeah, good. Hopefully everything's coming through good. So
welcome, Rigid Ironworks.
Yeah, Rigid Ironworks. Hello. Good evening to you. Glad you're here. So now's a good time if you know of anybody who's out there trying to hustle and make something of themselves in business and stuff. Share around this live stream with your friends and people that you may find that it is interesting, this type of business talk. You know, this is a great way of taking and doing it. So Been tuned. Yeah, I'd be homeless if there was a Blacksmith Superstore. You and I both, Ben. You and I both. That's for sure. So.
The Pickled Hammer Forge, he has a good question. He says, how do you feel about selling at flea markets?
I feel pretty good at selling at flea markets on your lower end items. So items that are, say, I would say no more than $50 at max. You're gonna probably leave home with a lot of $50 items. You're gonna come back home with a lot of $50 items.
Most items around the $5 to $10 range.
Yeah, $5 to $10 range. $25 items will sell pretty good to the people that are interested if it's the right kind of flea market type deal, or farmers market. It was flea market, wasn't it, or was it a farmers?
Flea market, yeah.
A flea market, yeah. If you know, the one benefit of if you feel that you got to have a kind of a brick and mortar business and, you know, actually have a landing spot. So let's say you can't have somebody come out, you know, you don't have the money to have a gallery per se. And then you're looking for a place to be able to exhibit your work. Flea markets are a great way. They're fairly cheap and inexpensive to be a landing spot for people.
If I remember correctly, I think you could get an outdoor booth space for about $25 for the day.
Yeah, and that depends. And indoor booth space, the rent's a little different and things, and you got to maintain them every month and stuff. But you know, basically, when it comes down to the flea market side of things, usually you have the people there that they got vacation, that they have weekender cash. So maybe they had a little extra money after all the bills are paid, and they're looking to spend it on, you know, a trinket. Something to make them feel good about their efforts for the hard work, for their hard work during the week, which is, I mean, we all should feel good about our efforts for the hard work during the week. So, you know, if you're going to do that, one way that you can maximize that is, you know, let people know through your social media and stuff, your online presence, where they can find you in person to meet up with you and have a meet and greet. You know, say, well, I'm at, you know, like here in Ohio, there's a Trader's World, right? So hashtag not sponsored. But so you say, hey, I'm going to be at the Trader's World flea market, booth 304, you know, every Saturday or every fourth Saturday of the month or something like that. Come on out, check out my items in person kind of thing. And that can be a great way of marketing towards that. And then you could offer a little more expensive items at that flea market because you have people who've seen you online and they were wanting to take and get something for that business. You know, they wanted to get something, how do I want to say? They wanted to get something in hand before they gave you that amount of money for that item type deal. So that's a great way of doing that.
I would say one other thing about flea markets. If you get an outdoor booth, that does give you the opportunity to do live demonstrations, which will definitely draw attraction to
depending on the flea market.
Yeah. Yeah, and you
gotta get it approved first.
Yeah, so, they may coal forge versus gas forge. They may be more comfortable with a gas forge.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is a good way of getting people to stop and watch for a while and perhaps buy something.
Exactly.
Well, so yeah, I'll take another question. Let's see. Ernie Beeswick says, "Almost have my forge complete. Next week I should be ready to start. Thanks for all the great videos. They have been a lot of help. Can't wait to get started."
Awesome. Glad to hear that, Ernie. Oh, that is awesome. We hope that you're blessed in your journey there.
Andrew Freeman, he says, just got here, had to finish dinner.
Well, good to have you a part of the stream, Andrew Freeman.
The Winter Night Warden says, my skill level in forging is not professional. To be called an amateur is being gracious. One thing that I'm working on is not the best. Should I give up and send it to another or keep on trying? Persevere or try to...
So I would kind of come at that at a little bit of a different angle, depending on what you're working on. You know, whatever it is that you're working on, sometimes you can start having too much troubles, and one bad thing can lead to another bad thing. So sometimes it's better to just start over. I wouldn't just trade it off to somebody else and let their skills at it, unless it's like you're really shooting above your belt when it comes to whatever this thing is. Because you don't learn anything that way. The other person gets work, the other person gets the credit, the other person gets the credibility in it, and you don't learn a thing that way. So, you know, maybe just stop and start again on another piece that is like that item. So go ahead and, you know, start with something else, bring it up to the same point, and you'll notice that you have better results.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you miss a hammer blow and you didn't correct it, and you missed another hammer blow and you didn't correct it, it just keeps cascading, and the problem gets worse and worse and worse as you work on it. And that's like true with anything in business. So let's say if you are doing something like, you got really cruddy looking photos, like you put a really cruddy looking photograph like on one of your listings, like stop there. Take better photographs. Like if you know that it's a cruddy looking photograph, don't make 200 listings that you have to go back and edit every last one of them and change every last one of them because you use that same cruddy looking photo across multiple platforms and things like that. So that's something that can also be applied there.
Another thing I'd like to add about that is if you have a local blacksmithing club, take the project you're working on and take it up to your next club meet, and maybe somebody there with who's done that kind of work before will be able to give you some tips and some pointers on it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's scroll back up. We missed a few there, I think. Let's scroll back up and see what we got here.
This one right here, Ben Toombs. He says, "How do you price stuff per hour? I feel bad charging anybody, so I don't want to charge people."
So you don't want to charge people. Okay, so Ben Toombs, great question on business. When it comes down to an hourly rate. Now, there's a lot of nuances when it comes to charging something per hour. Basically, a lot of it comes from experience, just knowing how you kind of got wrung out on a job. So, some jobs, I'll do, and I won't make but $5 an hour. It's just the nature of the job. Something went horribly wrong. I had to redo a couple things. Before you know it, got on the back burner, and who knows how deep I'm into the hole when it comes to it. And then there's other jobs that I make out like a scalded dog. I make plus $150 an hour on. So the way that I look at my shop rate, if you come to me and have something made, is $100 an hour. That's what I tell everybody, because I found at that price point, I'm very comfortable with my own skills and abilities. So I think I'd price it off of your own skills and ability, your speed or your efficiency. A lot of that requires tooling. So you may have to tool up to get your price point down, or you may have to tool up so you can get your price point up, to where you're actually making that threshold. Now, out of that, using the rule of 33 as a simple metric to look at, that means I would make roughly $33.33 an hour bring home, right? And that's kind of how that metric at that $100 an hour. The rest goes to pay bills, gas, electric, all that different stuff that I've previously talked about in that video. So to help you out a little more closely, hopefully to get you a little more on point with this question, depending on what it is that you're making. So say you're making a $20 item and you can get that done in an hour, well, then you're paying yourself whatever 1/3 of $20 is, if you will. Or let's just say if it was $30.
$6.33.
Okay, well, let's just say it was $30, right? That's pretty easy.
Yeah,
$10, right? Like you're getting paid $10 an hour to make a $30 item. That's kind of how you work out the math there. And if you need more than that per hour, you have to change the items that you do or fit more of them in that same time block. So let's say that $33 item now you've tooled up to, and now it makes, or that $30 item you've tooled up to, and now you can make 3 of them in an hour. Now you're beasting out $90 an hour. Do you see what I'm saying? And that'll bring you back that $30 an hour bring home that we were talking about, like in the rule of thirds type thing. So
now we have heard from one of your instructors too that he says about an intermediate level blacksmith should get paid at least $50 an hour. That's what we've heard from one of your instructors at least. But
and that's what you should get paid or expect in like a shop rate kind of thing. It is about $50 an hour. You have to remember what you are doing is skilled. This isn't anybody can do it. Anybody's grandma can pick up a knitting needle, right? But not every last one of them is going to pick up a cutting torch, you know what I'm saying, and go to town whacking on some, 3/4 inch plate, making some sort of art sculpture type deal. So what you are doing is it is a specialty.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind when you're pricing. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Let's see. Jim Bob the Impaler. Hello, folks. Just had to stop in for a visit.
Hello. Good to have you stopping in for the visit. So.
Dustin Dixon says, on a knife, anything past $250 each, you're paying for the name. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of knowledge on the knife market, but
yeah, I would say that could be true, but there's also Dustin, there's also the thing of the materials that it's made out of and the craftsmanship and the skill that goes into it, because there's some name people out there that they make really garbage junk knives that I've seen. I'm not going to name any names, but I've met amateurs or people that associate themselves as amateur knife makers that are better than master smiths. I mean, their work looks impeccable for being amateur, right? Like they don't carry a titles, so to speak, and they can market their knives or their swords for a heck of a lot more, right? Even though they don't carry a title or a name, so to speak. So you can always charge what the market will bear. So, where somebody won't pay $250 or won't pay $500 for a knife or won't pay $1,000 for a knife, there might be 5 million people on this planet that'll pay $500,000 for a knife out of you. And maybe not. Again, it depends on what your market will bear.
Yeah.
There's some people who won't buy anything of my ironwork ever. I don't care if it was, priced ridiculously where I was working for $1 an hour. They'd never buy it. They're just not into the, how do we want to call it? Frivolous income, right? Like liquidatable income. They don't have that, and so they can't afford my work. And that's perfectly okay. And people value stuff differently.
Yeah, I would say also, forgot where I was going to go.
Yeah,
I had a thought to add, but...
Well, we can go on to the next one,
right.
So let's see what we got here.
For the Honor Forge, he says, is there a good way to measure one's own efficiency? Like how efficient you're being.
Okay. First of all, Winter Knight Orden, you're welcome. So, for the Honor Forge, he said, is there a good way to measure one's efficiency? That's that's an introspective look there. So, a good way of measuring it is to make an item, whatever it may be. So, let's try to say something real simple. Let's go with something simple. A meat skewer, right? So it's got a taper on one end, a twist, and a little loop on the other, right? So say that's it. Let's just make it a real simple meat skewer, yeah? Okay, so say you're making this simple meat skewer, and you made one, time yourself. Make the second one, see if you've improved in time. The difference between those two times is your efficiency. So and you rate that in percentage, how much more percentage that was that you got that done quicker than the last time. Did you make a jig? So say you make a jig to bend the eye around, right? So the first time you spent a lot of time fussing around the horn of the anvil, but you took 10 minutes, you welded up a jig, now you can bend those eyes lickety-split, right? Okay? That shows you time yourself. Without the jig, with the jig, and that tells you the increase into your efficiency, and that can kind of gauge you. Now the kicker to that, and this is the key to all craftsmanship. You can get so efficient that your work gets sloppy. Don't let it do that. That's kind of the altar. That's kind of the altar bit there, right? You have got to judge yourself based upon that amount of level. There's a max out, a speed that you can do before you sacrifice quality.
Yeah. So
that's a good way of gauging. You just have to time yourself. Real simple. Go ahead.
Sure. Justin Wells, he says, Hey Roy, I'm 17 and I'm a blade maker, and every time I finish a knife, it seems like I get another order. I want to turn my hobby into a business. What are the first steps that I should take towards that?
Okay. So it sounds like you've already got a good business going. So first of all, congratulations.
Yes.
Everybody give Justin Wells a hand clap, right? Okay. So you already have a business. Don't kid yourself. Right now you do. So if you're asking from the standpoint of how do you turn it legal, you really can't do anything until after past the age of 18. You can't formulate an LLC. You can't do any of the technical stuff until you're beyond the age of 18.
Yeah. Now, technically, you are considered a sole proprietor right now, and I believe if you make above $600 here in the U.S., you are required to mention that on the tax return. There's a line for that.
Yeah, but and then again, once again, you are 17, so you know, the parents have to report that as part of their technical income. I believe is the way it works. So you know, great side hustle, great hustling. So let's say you turn 18, right? You finish up high school or whatever it is, right? You finish up your main education, and you want to turn it into a business. You know, yeah, it really comes down to number. You don't have to formulate an LLC just yet. No. But it is advisable within your first year of business. I mean, you're going at this full time, you're paying the bills, right? It's advisable that you do that, especially if you're doing knives, because again, there's liabilities. You should get insurance and some things like that. But don't scare yourself too much. You've got time to do that. It doesn't all just have to happen at a snapshot. The big thing for you, I would market your work everywhere. Instagram, anywhere that your friends are right now, anywhere that you know you're having success, double down on marketing in those places. Your knives, get very good quality photographs. You can, I think even Walmart carries really decent DSLR cameras now. They carry a Nikon. It's like a D500 or something like that. Okay, it's a very entry level DSLR camera, and be creative with your photographs, right? And try to take some really good photographs. Maybe your school or a vocation school, which is great while you're living at home and stuff, may have a photography class or something like that. That will go worlds into your business to be able to design stuff around taking pictures of your ironwork, right? Whether it's knife work or anything like that. Knowing how to set up a scene. Jessica is very good at that. I've got a pretty talented eye at setting up a scene too as well. And that's really helped our business grow. So, you know, being 17, that doesn't count you out. That's like perfect, man. You've got, I mean, if I would have been doing what I'm doing now when I was 17, I'd be so much further along. So you've definitely got a jump start on everybody else out there.
Definitely, yeah. Take some of your free time between orders if you get any, and try to diversify into different types of knives or things that perhaps your customers haven't been asking you for, so you can start broadening your portfolio as well.
One of the other things you could do with knives is you could start collections or series. So, you know, you only do a limited run of this kind of series of knives, and that'll encourage more people to buy from you. Basically put, you want more customers than you can handle. That's how you know you're going to have a really great business, right? You're going to have a really great business when you have more customers than you can actually handle. Got problems in the chat, Sugar?
No. Looks like Graham's got it covered. Here
Graham, thank you, buddy. We really do appreciate you. Thank you for taking care of that for us. So, but yeah, what else did I want to say? I had one other thing I wanted to say about that, but now it escapes me. Just congratulations, Justin. It's a good place to be in. Don't let nobody get you down. You know, again, get more customers. Think about that to where you have more orders than what you can keep up with, and then just roll right off into that, and don't be afraid of it. If you can upgrade any equipment or things like that to help your speed and efficiency get along better.
Yeah, it's a good time to start working towards that.
Yeah, it's a good time while you're with your parents and stuff to throw all that money back into tooling.
Yeah.
You know, really your first year or two of business, that might be something you want to think about. So between 17 and 18, while you're still going through school and stuff, throw all that money back into your tools. So this way when you get out of school, you are set, brother. You are set. But congratulations.
Yes.
What else we got here?
All right, Andrew Freeman. Any good seasonal items that are a beginner level that would sell at garage sales, swappers, meets, etc.?
Okay, so good seasonal items right now for blacksmithing. Campfire, anything campfire. So if that's like little, fire pokers, it's pretty simple stuff. You know, do fire pokers, do campfire tripods. Those are just essentially 3 fire pokers linked together. It's basic stuff. Squirrel cookers that they call them. It's basically just kind of like a little spit that you can rotate onto things. It's essentially like meat skewers. You know, it's like a set of 3 meat skewers with a little fork on one end, right? you know, you can make those. Those are a good seller right now. Tent stakes, believe it or not, if you're looking for something simple and small, you can do some hand-forged tent stakes. Those are very popular at places like rendezvous and things of that nature, or so I've been told. I've never actually sold tent stakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, just think anything campfire. A lot of people are doing camping, and people are, especially people who are interested in ironwork specifically, are interested in those things. One of the other angles that you can work from is the gardening aspect.
Yeah. Hand tools or even full-size tools like hoes and things like that.
Yep. Hand tools, shepherd's crooks, things that hang bird feeders and stuff like that. That's
wall-mounted hooks for flowers and things like that.
Yep, those sort of things. Those would be great.
Let's see, Mark S. Knowing how to market is a skill in itself. A sound ability of an artist can only take you so far if you cannot reach your audience. Very true. That's a very true statement. Yeah, you could be an excellent craftsman, and if nobody knows about you, you won't sell anything. You won't get any exposure.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
See, Graham Pepper says, hi, Roy and Jess.
Hello, Graham.
Marco Middlevinik, hello from Serbia.
Hello from Ohio. Great to have somebody from Serbia in the house. So.
Dustin Dixon, when I charge for my orders, I charge half up front and half on completion, so I can ship it. It helps people that are on a fixed income, and if they need more payments, I'm usually willing. We normally go with the half up front and half on completion on large jobs. Is how we normally handle that.
Let's keep cruising on down. Let's catch up to the bottom.
Sorry.
Well, that's fine. We can catch up to where we're at the bottom. So that's good. Okay.
Let's see. Lou, I have a question.
Hello, Daryl Blessing. Glad you're proud of us.
I have to send a neck knife from Mexico to USA. Do you know of a package delivery that does it? I'm not quite sure with the regulations on sending weaponry from the US to the USA. If you go on the USPS website and read under the regulations, they will clearly outline what you're allowed to ship there. They normally have like a paragraph long of exactly what's prohibited.
I do believe the USA is actually quite lenient when it comes to that. On that, except for certain type knives. So things like switchblades and knives that have projectile type stuff. Those are all outlawed here in the United States. You can't carry them on your persons, and generally you can't have them shipped type thing. So there's other countries we've dealt with in the past that they have real strict restrictions on like the UK and stuff, or the types of metals and things like that. Like I said, the USPS or a UPS website, do a quick Google search on it. They'll be able to help you out tenfold. So.
Paul's Garage, more customers than we can handle. Sounds like my day job. Stressful, but better than no work.
Good to have you here, Paul's Garage. So, that's exactly right. It's good to have that. They're going down. Let's catch up here.
All right.
See where we're at.
Spencer Coots, a good buddy of mine, charges per hour $120, I think. $60 for him and $60 for the shop, but he's been doing this for years.
Yeah, so he's found something that works for him, and there's nothing wrong with that pay rate. He's decided on what he's willing to get out of bed in the morning for, and no less. And his customers are more than happy to pay that for him. And so more power to him. And if you can find that, then that's a great way. There is no shortcut to finding the right answer. So there's no secret sauce here. Basically, it's not like, hey, you know what? I'm going to charge only $30 an hour and I'll undercut everybody. And all of a sudden I'll have millions of orders, right? Like, it just doesn't work that way. I may choose to go to $500 an hour in the next year or so, and you know what? There'll be customers that I'll wait on that will pay the $500 an hour for my ironwork. And it's not because I'm price gouging them or overpricing or anything else. They clearly see the price that I'm willing to accept for my ironwork. And they respect my time at that, and it's no big deal to them.
Yeah.
People who have $500 an hour to spend, they'll buy it. And people who don't, they won't. So, there is no short, easy answer, definitely, when it comes to how to price your work. Basically, it comes on what you're working on.
Yes.
And your skill level.
Jump Funky, he asked, what is a good way to get your product noticed? So like that's a whole several hour topic in itself.
Yeah.
We'll try to give you maybe a couple of tips on that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a bunch of paid ways that you can get your product noticed. There's also some really good free ones. Some of them is just sharing your products, like having a Facebook page, a professional one for your business, and sharing your products there. Like on Etsy, when you make a listing, they give a chance for you to share your item. They also have a feature where you can post pictures of like things that you're working on in progress, and then like tag a particular product with that, and then share that on social media. That's another good way. One way you can do is to take your product and have it and send it perhaps for free to somebody who'd be willing to review it, like a YouTube channel or another person on social media that has a big following. In exchange for getting you that exposure, you give them the item for free. Yeah,
and you know, the other great way, you know, just word of mouth. Word of mouth in general, you know, families, friends, co-workers, things like that. That's a great way of, you know, building a repertoire of getting your business name out there. What else we got here?
Let's see, Harrison B. from Colorado. I love to watch anything from both of you.
Awesome, Harrison B. Well, we're glad you're here, so thank you all for being here. Also, real quick, I want to take a mention. If anybody wants a live business review, like I said, we are doing those for $25 super chats and up. And then, you know, just pointing that out. And that'll also be for every Monday night live stream that we do when we do Monday night live streams, which should be pretty on the regular. That's what we're planning on doing to help you all with your businesses. That is still there, and that's the option to do that. And of course, we're going to just do our best to get through everybody's comments that we can, because we love helping you all and growing your business.
Yeah, we're up to 45 people.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. We can't see the likes or anything else like that. Make sure you like the stream, and again, share the stream if you want to with somebody that you would find this beneficial, pretty much. So. All right, I want to get with a few people. So looks like Sarah and Mike G are in the thing. Good to have you all.
Thomas Urso says hello from Virginia.
Hello, Thomas Urso. Good to have you in the stream, buddy.
Northeast Forge is here also.
Awesome.
Let's see. Graham says, what should I do to promote my tulips for Mother's Day?
Okay, to promote tulips for Mother's Day. The best thing that you can do for tulips for Mother's Day is, you know, again, start tagging them more specifically towards Mother's Day.
Yeah, I actually have some photo ideas for you as the first thing that came to mind. Like, go ahead and have a woman have a woman hold your tulips and do like a photo shoot of it, so that you have some close-ups and different angles and things like that. And then you can share it in certain places.
Here's a good example. It's hard to tell scale. So this right here behind me is a rose, right? And it looks like it's really small and kind of distant and stuff. Well, let me reach back here and grab this, okay? It's not really that small, see? So let me bring it up here, see?
That's over 12 inches long.
Yeah, so it's over 12-inch stem, right? This is one of my roses I offer, and that is a great example of scale. So if I hold it with my big man hands, it doesn't look so impressive, but if Jessica holds it, it looks a little more dainty and elegant. And so if you can find somebody, a mom, a wife, a girlfriend, a lady down the street, just some random broad.
Hey, I need you for a minute.
Hey, I need your hands for a second. You know, be careful on that one. But you know, if you
real careful.
Yeah, if you do that, right, that, you know, maybe, you know, slip her $20 and say, hey, you know, I need some pictures of a hands holding my item, right? That, you know, these roses, that is a great way of marketing those tulips. And again, you can kind of look what's Mother Day-ish kind of around on your on Etsy as a general.
You can also do props as well, like a hat, some pearls, things like that. Yep. We actually did this for a rose bundle. Getting carried away. We did this for a rose bundle, and we actually used those pictures on our listings, so that people are seeing the items in use, and it really helps them visualize, okay, I could see myself holding this, and encourages them in that direction.
Yeah, exactly. That's good stuff. Let's see here. Right. We got one here.
Justin Wells, he says, what you guys said was so encouraging. I'm going to borrow a high quality camera from a friend of mine so I can take pictures of my blades. I'm also going to start working to upgrade my tooling over the summer.
Awesome, Justin Wells. You are going to be one successful businessman. One successful businessman. I'm fully confident. Go out there and kick butt, brother. That's awesome.
We have CDNII. I'm a senior in high school and I'm thinking about printing out some business cards and offering them to the school staff. What type of items should I advertise to that type of audience?
Okay, that is a good question.
Yes, yeah. I have an idea for you. This was one I had for Roy a while back and he wasn't interested. But like
I'm particular.
Yeah. Like you could do business card holders as ones that are for like grown-ups that are working. Another one could be like little decorative like pencil holders or little cans, things like that.
Yep.
Over the door hooks, perhaps, if you've seen those before, they go
like
over the
jackets and stuff and reefs and things of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like a reef hook in a way.
Kind of like decor, wall decor type things as well.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of wall decor type stuff. That's a really good way, and it's great to have yet another young entrepreneur in the house when it comes to that.
Yes.
And with business cards, let me give you a little key about business cards. Do not think that the conversion rate or the ROI that they call, the return on investment on a business card is a great thing. Now, business cards will have you believe when you get to a business card site that every business card is going to be a sale. That's not how it works. So, we've put out, I don't know, probably 10, 20,000 business cards in the time that we've been doing this. And out of those, maybe 0.1%, probably.
Yeah.
I would say we actually got a return on that investment. Think of a business card as a calling card. It should look really good, right? It should tell a little bit about you, not too much info, but it should incite curiosity about what it is that you're doing. So if you can add flame, forging services, or maybe you do stuff like fire pokers or some sort of camping tools or home and hearth decorations or things like that, something that'll speak more to that. That's a great way of going. I would stay away from anything weapon related when you're in school, especially. Stay away from anything like that. You don't want to be that kid. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that kid kind of marketing to your teachers and stuff that way. So just use a little bit of sense when it comes to that, and try to market more home houseware type stuff. So.
Also on making business cards, down in the description of this video, you'll find a playlist called The Business of Blacksmithing, and I do a tutorial on how to make business cards if you have not yet seen that and you're looking at making those.
Yep. All right. Did we I think we've missed a few up top.
All right. Harrison B. Love the new studio, by the way. God bless.
Awesome. God bless you. So.
Billy Strong, sorry y'all, getting the trailer ready to go work out of town.
Hey, not a problem, Billy Strong, but thank you for stopping in as you can. So.
Andrew Freeman, nameplate sounds like a winner for school staff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely good. So.
Graham says 31 likes.
Yep, 31 likes. Awesome. Oh, you're welcome, Jump Monkey. I don't know if that was directed towards us, but we'll say hey. Why not? Wayne just wrecked it. Let's see. All right,
Paul Fontanini. Hi guys, just stopping in for a quick hello. Hi, Paul.
Hey, well, hello. Sorry you gotta go so quickly, but thank you for stopping in.
Yeah, he says he's on a hike. We went hiking yesterday.
Yeah.
It's really nice weather.
Yeah, it is beautiful weather, so.
Let's see, Coffee's Forge. I make keychains, letter openers, and knives, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I also paint landscapes and things. Is it wise to sell this stuff on the same site, or should I keep it separate?
I think you can market both. On the same site, because it's what you do as an artist. I think the biggest thing for you to do is not to market yourself into one niche. Then don't market yourself into a corner. Don't say, so like branding, if you will. Coffee's Forge. So if you say Coffee's Forge Incorporated, right, and say that's
Forge and Art.
Say that's your branding, right? You can do that if most of your ironwork is forging related, right? And then you can throw in, some of your secondary pastime or your passions or whatever and market it there as well. Sometimes it's good to take and open up something like, coffees, name's escaping me. Something that's a little more open to other art forms, right? Like coffee's art or something like that, right? That doesn't tell a whole lot about the ironwork side of things, although you may still have those. If you say incorporated or something like that, or ink or something like that, that's a great way of kind of like cluing people in before they get to your shop that there's more there to be had. Most likely what is going to end up happening for you is around the internet, that listing's sitting out there. It's like a little fishing hook. That big old bass, big old mouth bass may bite on one fishing hook and one type of bait, but he'll never bite on another. Or she will, or whatever type of bass you wish, okay? So people are coming to your website for that painting because they were in the market for paintings and they were looking for paintings. They're not going to have anything wrong with the fact that you do blacksmithing on the side. And in fact, it's probably the contrary. They'll be like, oh, wow, that's neat too, right? And maybe they'll order some hooks or maybe they'll order something else you may offer.
A good tie-in perhaps would be to do some painting on something you forged, to have a few items like that so that it's kind of tying in elements of both. Yeah,
exactly. You can tie that in. I wouldn't worry about it too much, tying it in too deeply. Again, think of it as multiple. The more fish hooks you have out there, the more trolling lines you have out there, the wider and broader your net is, the more people you're going to bring in for potential sales. Where you'll get real confusing is if you don't market the art equally in your shop as you do your forged items. So the very first landing page they come on, there's nothing but ironwork, and you've got one painting listed.
Yeah.
So if they're there for paintings, you should have a whole painting section.
Yeah. If you're in, depending on what kind of site you're using, if you have the ability to put a banner or a header of some sort up there, do kind of a collage of all your different types of items, and that way they're seeing that right off the bat. Additionally, when you do things like sell on Etsy, you can do categories, and you can also do that on your own website where you group similar type items together. Now this is really important on Etsy because if somebody comes in looking at, perhaps you have a painted saw blade. So if somebody comes in looking at that particular painted saw blade, you have all of your painted items together, or if you do a lot of painted saw blades, you have a bunch of those in one category together. When they look over to the right hand side of the listing, they will actually see everything else. I believe they display 6 or 8 of your other items from that particular category on the side. So even if the person... Yeah, we can show them.
Yeah.
That's a great
idea. Did I ruin your role?
You kind of did, but it's okay because I can show it right over here, what we're talking about.
Okay. Hopefully you all can see this here. We're trying this out.
Yes, this is our first. We're switching it up a little bit. So I'm going to our shop and I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to do it with this Thor's hammer here. And as I click on this, you're going to notice on the right hand side there's going to be more recommended items from our shop. So as you'll see, these are all hammer related because I do have them in a category together that is all related to hammers. So there's a couple of miniature hammers in there and there's a couple of full-size hammers. But when you group your similar type items together like this, as many options as you have, they'll put them up there. So I think we only had 6 or 7 in there. And then the bottom 2, they just filled in with other miscellaneous stuff. So that can be a really important way to take advantage of your categories.
So let's jump back and hopefully they got to see all that.
I believe they did.
Yep.
There we go.
So, we'll go back over to the thing. So hopefully you all got to see every ounce of that. Hopefully that was awesome. So.
Yes, our first time trying that out.
Good. So, all right, let's take another question here.
Sure. Paul's Garage says, one thing we do is fridge magnet business cards. We do appliance repair, so fridge magnets on a fridge that might break, etc. Plus, the fridge magnets get used on a lot of visibility that way. Yeah,
and that's a great way of marketing to your very specific market and client base. If you're an appliance repairman, having a sticker on that appliance or a fridge magnet is huge, I'm sure, for that repeat business.
Yeah, so I've got it. I'll read out a couple of these. Spencer Coots.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, he says not to read out loud. Never mind. Andrew Freeman. That is a banana hanger, and there's already a video on it. Yep, right back there behind Roy.
Yep. There's already a video on there for sure.
Yeah, so if you're into blacksmithing, feel free to check out that tutorial.
Yep.
Let's see, Mike G. I have started an Etsy shop back in June. So far I have made 9 sales. It takes some time to get going. Yeah, it does take time to get going. The fact that you have 9 sales is a good sign.
Yep.
I try to recommend to people to get 10 sales as quickly as possible. That may mean marking your items down a little lower than the competition. Just having that 10 sales and hopefully 10 feedback. That's not always the case, is to get everybody to leave you feedback, but it does give you a jump start on getting your store started as quickly as possible.
Exactly. One of the other things that I like to take and put out there is, we get a lot of comments sometimes where people have started Etsy stores, right, off of our Etsy videos, right? They've started Etsy stores, but they haven't seen any sales, right? Or they've seen some sales, like they had a burst of sales, and then they had none, right? A lot of this has to do with the SEO type stuff, is that you're not paying to play there, okay? You have got to relist your listings.
Yes.
Multiple times a week, because the way it works, and you can check me on this. You can literally pull it up on 2 different pages, 2 different devices. Okay, refresh them at the same time. So relist an item in whatever category it is that you're watching. Hit buy, go ahead and do your thing where you refresh that page, and I guarantee you'll see your item pop up to the top of that list, but it's only going to be there for a few seconds, and then it'll bump down, and then it'll go down, and it'll go down, and it'll go down, and it'll go down until it's at the bottom of the category or bottom of the list, because they're interested, obviously Etsy is, at making money.
Yes. I want to outline that here for you for a second. So you'll look at the top of this page. I typed in hand-forged copper bowl. And up here you'll see the very first 4 pictures, they all say ad. So these people actually paid to be up here. Yeah,
they paid an ad spot to run those at the top of the search engine.
Which we've tried before, and I mean, you can get
Mixed
some
success.
impressions.
Yeah.
But if you look down here, okay, this is our result. This is the second line down from the top. The third line down, we have 2 other results here. And that, I renewed all of those items today. So that's what helps them get shown there at the top. And if I go down a little more, there's another one of ours. So again, renewing is very important. I cycle all of our items out. We have about 75 items, I think, and I renewed 20 every day. But depending on how big your store is, you'll probably want to renew about 25% of them every single day.
Yep. And as you can see, there's plenty of competitors there trying to come up to my same quality standards.
Might show how many pages. 107 results in particular.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's normal, that you're going to have some competition there. So. Yep.
See, graham peppers is nice effect.
Hopefully everybody like that.
Paul's Garage had said magnets cost more than cards, though, so it's a factor to consider. The junk monk. I lost your question.
That's okay. Let's go up here.
Okay.
We have to go. What's up?
Junk Monkey. One more question. Would you have any recommendations on shipping a little easier? My work hours don't allow much time for me to get to post offices and etc. Yes, we do. We have some really good tips on shipping for you. One thing to do we recommend for efficiency is to keep some boxes in stock for your general size of items. That way you're not hunting boxes. We've done that for a number of years. You don't have the right size box. You have to go try to scrounge up a box from the Dollar General or the Walmart, or fold some weird concoction yourself, and that just takes way too long. It's much better to have a fitted box in several sizes of a selection on hand. Now, like you said, you're not able to make it to post offices and things like that on a regular basis. If you live somewhere where you're not too rural, you can go to USPS.com and schedule a pickup. And all you have to do is set your package out on your porch or by your door, and they will pick it up when they run your normal mail time, and they allow you to schedule that out and stuff. It does have to be a priority mail item, and they offer that service. So it'll be for the following day, or you can schedule it as many months in advance as you would like to.
Holy mother of pearl, I'm ordering a few things soon. Awesome. So let's see here. All right, keep going down. We need to catch up to the bottom of the list here as we go. Don't miss anybody yet. So Big Dog Forge, Tim from Big Dog Forge is here. Go back up. He said eBay or Etsy. I want to answer his question. Okay. So good to have you in the stream, Tim. eBay or Etsy. eBay is a lower priced point on your ironwork, if you will. You're going to find that you can only get lower prices through eBay. There is kind of a limit there.
Unless you have a reputation specifically to eBay customers, which there's one guy on there that sells knives, and he has a very good reputation. So if you're to look under the completed listings, you would see his knives sell regularly for above $200.
Yeah. And but he's developed a reputation over the last, we've been doing this now for 9 years online. We've been doing online. He's been on there ever since we were on there. So he's been at it for a long time on eBay, building up that reputation. In general, though, Etsy is lower fees, and it is marketed specifically towards people who are looking for art or looking for it, and they respect more of the craftsmanship that goes into it versus eBay kind of sneakers. You buy your TV remote that you've misplaced, like that kind of thing. And so sometimes it's hard to put across, or it was when we were doing it, it was hard to put across more expensive items. Also, one of the other problems with eBay does not do enough to protect its sellers. So, somebody can say, hey, I don't like the item, and leave you a big negative feedback that you can never get rid of. There's no protocol. You're just stuck with it. So yeah, eBay, get that fixed. And no, I'm not a fan of you for that reason. Yes, you can sell stuff on eBay, and that is a great entry level way of doing it, but they do have higher fees.
Yeah, eBay's format isn't really set up very good for displaying your items in a nice featured manner. Like Roy says, that eBay fees are higher. They're about, I believe, 10% plus another 3% for your credit card processing, whereas Etsy is 3% fee plus 3% for the credit card processing. So you're talking 6% on Etsy versus 13% on eBay.
So, all right, let's move along here. Got to catch up.
This one, the pickled hammer. Should I get an inventory built up to post on Etsy, or can I post up single items and make them to order?
You can do both. You can do both. Right now, most of my items are made to order. There's actually a few items that I got sitting on the shelf that you can buy. You can buy outright because they're sitting on the shelf. But for the most part, I still make sure that I pretty much just make the order type thing. That's me. I can do that with my particular business right now because I have tools that I can get things turned around on a quick turnaround time. And I'll be doing a lot less of that in the upcoming months and years. I'll be doing less of that kind of quick turnaround time stuff. But it is a good way of doing that. If you can stock up, that's recommended. That way, if you're sick, you got the sniffles, who knows what happens. Maybe you get in a jam. Like John Switzer at Black Bear Forge a while back, he got his hands caught in a power hammer, kind of got a little bit of meat, a little chunk taken out of him. If he had things built up already sitting on a shelf, his orders would have continued to sell, and he would have been able to fill those orders even though he wasn't able to actually make anything. But since he didn't have a ton of product sitting on the shelf built up, which that's very difficult to do. For John, what he's doing is a very labor-intensive product. So it's very hard for him to just put 5,000 of something on the shelf, right? Because of that, he had to take a break and he had to put everything on postpone. Luckily on Etsy, a lot of people are pretty reasonable when it comes to your timelines and things like that, because they understand that they're buying something that's handcrafted, and that's why they're there. So let's move on.
Mike G, this is random. I've been using my 10K sub hammer in the shop and love it. Thanks.
Awesome, Mike G. I'm glad that's holding up well for you, brother.
Let's see, Donald Roberts. I found word of mouth is still the best advertising. I've been selling local to avoid shipping using flea markets and rummage sales.
Well, that's a good thing. If you can find that type of marketplace, that's a good place to be in. I would still highly encourage that you get yourself an online presence at some point. Yeah. And that's kind of
even if it just starts with a portfolio. Even if it just starts with a collection of photographs, at least start with that. Yeah. So you can refer people to look at your work.
Yeah, and there's a big reason for that as well. So a lot of people will ask at a show, and I'm sure they've already asked you this, is, well, where can I find your work? or maybe they didn't have the cash on them right there to take and pay you, but they want to take and get it still, but you know, they need to go talk to the wife, or they need to go talk to the husband, or they need to go, you know, consult with their financial consultant if it was an expensive item, right? Like they need to go consult with someone first and make sure that that's okay, or that item that they're getting is, you know, what they want to get. And then that might be at 5 o'clock and you're about to pack up for the day and they just don't have the money, and you miss the sale because you have no web presence to where they can connect with you further on. So whether that's a Facebook account where you have a professional page where you have all your work in a contact way that they can contact you, you at least need to establish that. It could be an email address, but something with pictures and the products you offer is a great way of doing that. So you should start with that, and then eventually you'll kind of get lazy like we have done, when you can do everything online and you don't have to go to shows unless you want to, kind of those sort of things. You don't have to drag product in and out. So
yes,
let's move along.
Dustin Dixon, yeah, if anybody who wants to talk to us personally, go to our website. You can either go to blacksmithpdfs.com, the link's down in the description to help you get there, and go to our contact in the upper right hand side. You'll see the contact form.
Yeah,
and send us a message there.
And currently we're quite lagged behind on emails and stuff, so it may take us a while to get back to you, but we will give it our best shot.
George Mia, do you have any tips on listing lots of items on eBay quickly? It seems to take a fair bit of time to compile each advertisement or each listing. Yes, George, you can, I believe, on eBay, just the same as Etsy, as long as they haven't changed it, you can replicate your listing and change the photographs. So if you're selling items of a similar type or a variation of an item that you have, you just copy the listing or use the little, your current listing or the listing that's already been made. You just go to the little side drop down menu on that and you can copy that and just make whatever changes you need to without starting from scratch on it.
Exactly.
Donald Roberts, how much do I have to file for taxes? I made a pretty good amount and need to find the percentage to hold back. So Donald, to answer your question on this, although we are not tax professionals by any means, this is kind of, it's really hard to answer that question because it really depends on what part of the tax bracket you're in. So like if you're already to the point where you're paying, if you're already having to pay taxes like on a normal job you have,
and that means if you're having to pay into it at the end of the year,
because
you're already claiming too many deductions, I wouldn't claim any deductions on the money that you had made there. You need to make sure that kind of goes into the funnel, into that funnel to try to even that out. Ideally, you want to come back with no tax return at the end of the year or a very small tax return. I always like it to be a little in the green. I don't like to owe anything, but maybe if you get a couple $100 back or something like that, like then you know that you're doing something right when it comes to the taxes, so to speak. Again, depending on where you're at, your location, tax law does change a little bit based upon your taxes of your state taxes, school taxes, things like that. They do change. I know New York State, they do it based upon like your income. There's some other states that are like that, like, their state local tax that you have to pay is paid based upon your annual gross income, things like that. So that's something that you really should consult with a tax consultant with.
Right. I was gonna say it's about 25% if you're not getting back a tax return. So like it hits April and you're having to pay them already, then you're probably gonna want to save back about 25% and go ahead and pay that as a estimated tax payment. You can do that quarterly to the IRS. The other way you can do it is you just wait till you actually file your taxes, and then they will let you know if you owe them anything additional. And there may be a small penalty on that.
And that's a bit of a shot in the dark, We've done that method before. We did come out on top, but a lot of that will help you kind of decide how you want to do it the following year and what you want to withhold and things like that. So you kind of need to gauge it if you've been running this business for a little while off of a previous year's tax statement. That's a good way of doing it.
And make sure, even if you're not a registered business, make sure you're saving your receipts. You can use those to help offset your income as well. So just keep track of those.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Well, I want to take a moment to recognize a few Super Chat donations. Billy Strong, thank you for the $2.99 Super Chat. We greatly appreciate you supporting the stream and supporting the channel. Graham Pepper, as always, we love you, brother. Thank you so much for that $2 Super Chat. I hope those tongs are getting to you very soon. So, but, all right.
All right, Lou Richards, do you know if Etsy will allow you to link your website to your Etsy store? If so, do you know how that's done? So I think, let me jump over here for a minute and I'll see if I remember this correctly. I'm going to go to our page again. Actually, I can do it from doing here. So if I remember correctly, you go to your About Me page and you are allowed to put in a link there. So I'm just going to click this little icon. It's going to take us to our storefront here. Let's see.
This is all new to me too. Jessica usually handles this type of thing, so I'm going to sit quietly if you can believe that.
So up here under About, it kind of jumps you down to the bottom. I think they give you a whole nother page on this. And let's see. So around the web, yeah. So down here they show, so you have to go under your settings for your store, but they do allow you to enter your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, social media and stuff, so people can follow you
and
there.
Your own website.
And your own website. So if this is set up properly, it'll jump to our webpage, which it goes there just fine. So yes, so that's how you do it. Kind of. I know that's not a step-by-step or anything, but you have to go under your settings.
We could probably do. Jessica's going to do a revamp of the whole Etsy series at some point in time. Here in the next probably. Definitely by the end of the year, I would say by the end of the year, we're going to do a whole Etsy thing where we continue on. So we really hope that will help you out when we do release that series on that. Jessica tries to go fairly in-depth and thorough into those things.
Yeah.
And it's a little more thorough than what we can do on the actual live stream.
Yeah.
Because basically what ends up happening is, too, on a live stream or something like this, a lot of personal information's out there, like a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff and private security stuff. You can't blur things out and stuff, so we have to do very specific things on that. So.
Big Dog Forge, all I heard was taxes, blah, 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 blah. Thank God for accountants.
Yep, Tim. Big Dog Forge, that's for sure, buddy. Thank God for accountants. So, Jessica and I, we do that quite a bit. She does most of the taxes. I try to help where I can, and we've been doing that for a little while now, but we're starting to get to the point, too, a little bit that we're going to start getting a CPA on that. It just makes life a lot simpler on us. So, Paul Ellis said goodnight. So, thank you for being here. Glad we could help you grow. Thank you for stopping by, Paul.
See, I'm going back.
All right, did we miss any questions? So,
let's see. Right here. For the Honor Forge, I'm wanting to make some specialty wedding arches, but I'm concerned it will cost a lot to ship and have no idea if it will even sell. Any tips for making large art pieces and storing them? Well, that's a tricky one.
If you're going to store large art pieces, you're going to obviously need space. There's no two ways about it. So if you have a large shed or something that you can store these things in, that'd be great. If you can make them where they're hinged or somehow that they fold flat or something, and you do your final assembly work when they do sell type deal. So maybe you build the arch portions, but you don't actually put in the decorative portion yet, right? Like you just make the elements and then just have them kind of just palleted and laying there all set up. So this way when they do sell, it's just assembly work. That would probably be my suggestion if you're short on space. When it comes to large pieces, any of the large pieces I've ever done, usually I'm working on them for several months or so, and then they get shipped out as soon as they're done. So there's no backlog. I've got 40 of this humongous item or something. Usually my items are a one-off type deal. So I would make yourself a wedding arch.
Yeah, not a whole bunch to store, I think.
I would make yourself a wedding arch with the intention of figuring out all your measurements and figuring out how you're going to actually sell this product and ship it, okay? And get your pictures, pose some people in wedding gowns and things like that underneath it type deal. Get your pictures, get your listing up for that, and then that's the cheapest way. The worst case scenario, you got a neat little garden arch in your own little garden, right? And you just don't call it a wedding arch. It's just a garden thing. And for, like, I think that would be your best route.
Yeah.
That way you're not storing and you're spending a high cost on materials, a bunch of product that may never sell. And then sometimes items, they'll sell, but it'll take them 2-3 years before they go. And all of a sudden you'll hit that right vein and it'll just fly off the handle.
One thing you can do with big items instead of constantly have them stored at your house is you can put them on rotation at art galleries for juried art shows. But again, some of the time it'll still be at your location.
Yep, exactly.
So, Billy Strong. Okay, y'all, have a great live stream. Gotta go to the Big Orange store and get some parts. Thanks for this new live stream.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you, Billy Strong. Enjoy the Big Orange store. We all know where he's going. That way I don't have to say hashtag not sponsored. All right, what do we got here?
Let's see. I% wish I could find a blacksmithing school near me. Too bad. Texarkana school looks good though.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you go to our video on blacksmithing clubs, go look down in the comments on that video, and people have posted clubs near them, and perhaps you'll find something that's in your region.
I want to answer Horace here.
Sure, go ahead.
Go ahead. You read out.
Okay, Horace Kincannon. I've been building tools to develop skills to make products to sell. Currently working on a post vise. Is this a good idea, or should I spend more time on the things I want to sell?
It's hard to find that balance between tooling and it is hard to find the balance between tooling and the job. So tooling up for the job and doing the job at hand. There's certain fundamental things that you need in your shop that are just going to produce efficiency. So like having a good vise, it's invaluable. So you can't really value that. So you need to get that done, right? Like having an anvil that's not going to like walk off its stand and fall on you. That's important to have that strapped down. So it's worth taking the time out to do that. And it's going to save you loads when it comes to efficiency of actually making items. When it comes to actually making items for sale, you want to spend the least amount of time, and I do mean the least amount of time that it takes to get any particular tool done and the amount of time that it takes to get the particular tool done for that job. So, you know, you'll see a lot of guys, they'll go in, they'll tell you that, oh, you got to have H13, or you got to have 5160, or you got to have 4140, or you can't make dies out of anything else but the best of the best of the best type high carbon tool steels and things like that, right? And they've got to be machined, and they got to be flat, and they got to be like all these great things. But then, so you're spending 2 months making your tooling and you're not making product. So a lot of those guys are coming from the mindset of production. This item has to make 4,000 units out of this one item. And they're exactly correct when they offer that you need to get the best tool steel that you can and don't waste your time on anything less than the best tool steel you can, right? But things like, so let's say you're going to do a short run of like tomahawk heads. Make a tomahawk drift out of some mild steel, you know what I'm saying? And then spend the least amount of time hammering and effort on that so you can actually get to the product quicker. The quicker you get to the product, the more money you will have to actually spend on good tools and on good tooling. You'll be able to throw that back and reinvest constantly. Yep.
Let's see, Winter Night Warden, is the club's video 3 at 3 or categorized as something else? The best way to find a video, if you're looking for any of our specific videos, since we now have over 700, is to type in Christ Centered Ironworks and then whatever the topic is you're looking for. So for that one, type in Christ Centered Ironworks Blacksmith Clubs, and it should come up at the top. So, so just a little tip there.
Yeah, you could go to that if you wanted to here in a minute. So.
For the Honored Forge, I need to make stock for my demonstrations this weekend. Thanks all. Have a good night.
Hey, have a great night for the Honored Forge. Glad you came by and stopped in.
Let's see.
Big Dog Forge is apparently gone. Thanks, Tim, for stopping in. If you're leaving,
message retracted there. Huh?
Maybe sticking around. Who knows? All right.
Let's see. CDNII. Personally, I believe that except for things like safety and math, science, history, the classroom is not the best way to learn. The best, or one of the best ways of learning, is by doing.
Yep, that can definitely be true. There's a lot you can learn from books, but until you have that experience on your belt, your ironwork's not going to look like much. So there's no better teacher than standing and pounding out at the anvil, or weaving at the loom, or painting at the canvas, or whatever analogy you want to insert there. There is no better valuable education than hands-on education, doing the exact thing that you're after.
Yeah.
Same thing with business here. And so going back a little bit more to what we started this whole thing about, how ding dong, the old businesses are dead, right? The old brick and mortar type thing, that's going to be a thing of the past. And the best way to take and know how to go forward is immerse yourself in it. So accept the fact that the brick and mortar thing, it's going away. In the next 10 years, people will not be going to brick and mortar establishments. You can mark my word on that, and we will come back to this live stream right now, and I guarantee you I will be absolutely correct on that. There's less and less people interested in going to the grocery store. I mean, my lord, you can order your groceries online. In fact, if you get something like a hashtag not sponsored on this, like Blue Apron, there's like this thing called Blue Apron where you can have meals already cut up. They're already like pre-packaged. They're like fresh ingredients.
It's like all the ingredients, and you just throw them together.
And you just have to throw them together and throw them in your skillet, and boom, you're on your way and going. And so think about why those companies exist, and the very fact that they're turning over millions of dollars. It's because that's where it's going, right?
Yes.
And so blacksmiths, artisans, we have to do the same thing. The old thought process is you have to take and open up a thing, you have to go to a craft show, you have to have a booth, you have to have a table, you have to have a brick and mortar establishment, you have to obey all your fire codes and get your fire marshals and inspectors and stamps and proper lockout and tag out procedures for all your stuff, all this type of different things. You get into your head that, well, this is the way it goes, and it becomes very overwhelming very quickly, and a lot of people just refuse to start. When there's guys out there, I mean, we've had some 17-year-old kids here that are having great success, and they're in high school.
Right. Yeah.
They're starting it now in high school. So there's no reason why, if a high schooler, no offense, if a high schooler can do it, there's no reason why you can't start. I don't care if you're 150, you're 50, or you're 15. You can get started on your business. You just have to start somewhere. So whatever you're comfortable with, start there. Learn everything you can learn about it, and then continue to move forward.
It doesn't really even matter what your skill level is.
Yep. My grandpa used to say, anything that's free is worth saving up for. I do need to go. God bless you both. I'll see you soon. Good night, Tim. Thank you for being here, buddy. God bless you, too, as well. So.
Donald Roberts, as an ex-military electrician, I have yet to use Shakespeare when wiring an outlet. LOL.
Yeah, well, if y'all can't tell, I'm not an English lit major by no stretch of the imagination. So, yeah.
Spencer Coots, I thought you said Ricky and Morty establishment. Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I'm not a Rick and Mortar establishment. Not a Rick and Mortar establishment either, so.
No. Let's see, the Winter Night Warden. I wish I could post pics on conversations here, but my phone won't let me do that.
Yep.
So I'm going to show you. Use this little feature here. If you want to show us a photograph, the best way to do it is Instagram.
Yep.
Good to go there. It's Instagram.com/Christ Centered Ironworks.
Yep.
And if anybody is on there, but they're not yet following us, it's going to pull up what we've been up to on there lately. Yeah, we've kind of got some behind-the-scene pics that we've been sharing here. We did a little notification there of our business live stream just a few minutes before we started.
The clinker I pulled out of the forge that I was forge welding in.
Yeah, This was our last live stream right here.
Yep.
And let's see, down here, that was us working on the set just behind us.
Just behind us here. So.
Yep. So I'll go back now, but.
I'm going to go with purple. We've been sitting in green for too long.
Change it up.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to purple for a little bit. So, yeah, so there you go. That's the best way to take and get a hold of us. If you're going to share us a pic, is like an Instagram. Yes. Another way you can do it is you can do it through our Gmail. That's christcenteredforge@gmail.com. You can take and do that and send us a pic that way. When it comes to the comment sections and things like that, YouTube will not allow you to take and share photographs for obvious reasons. There would be people would spam that with inappropriate content. They won't allow you to share links either. Only admin.
Yeah, we have to approve them.
We have to approve them because they'll just flag them as spam and things like that. So the best way of getting those to us is through our Gmail account or our Instagram. Instagram's probably quicker for us to see them than it would be the Gmail, but either way, we get to see them that way. All right. Any other questions, though?
Andrew Freeman, did anybody have the right guess from Instagram for the studio set?
No, everybody thought we moved.
Yeah. That'd be a really big surprise.
Yep. Everybody thought we were moving, or I got a new workshop. I wish. But yeah, everybody thought we were doing those sort of things, but we didn't. We're still in the same location. We just happened to take advantage of a spare room we had and build us a wall. The problem with this old farmhouse is there's no straight wall space over 6 feet long, right? And so the camera needed that space. Needed over 8 feet, so there's a 7-foot shelving unit behind us, and that wall, there's a false wall that stretches another 8 feet or so. Well, it's a total of 8 feet in total. That way it kind of blocked out, and actually just over my left shoulder there's a door right behind there, so it's kind of an interesting thing, a little bit behind the scenes, but yeah, no one got that correct at all. But yeah, we like this setup a lot better, and for the astute individual, you would have noticed that we just changed colors too. So I like the LED lights. I like how you can change all the colors of the rainbow there if you want.
So I have a question for you guys in the comments. If you're watching, we'd like to know if you have a business right now. Do you have a business, and if so, what is your business? And that way we can get a little more feedback here. How many of you are just looking to learn about it, and how many of it are actually putting some of the things in practice currently? Where you're marketing and trying to reach new clients and things like that.
Exactly.
Spencer Coots, do we have kids? Yes, we have 3 of them.
Yep. We have 3 kiddos, so 3 beautiful kiddos. They're all getting older than I can keep up with. That's for sure. My mom's in the comment section. You don't count, Mom. You saw the set while it was in progress, so don't count at all. So it looks like we got 34 watching. That's not too bad. Thank you all for being here with us this evening. This is kind of an interesting little treat. Not forging, but talking about business and things. We'll see how popular this gets. I hope that it will really take off, because Jessica and I want to help you all with your businesses, and help see you grow. And we're taking our Mondays, we're taking 2 hours out of every one of our Mondays, plus there's about 2 hours getting prepped for this live stream. We're taking that time to, again, try to help you guys out there and gals grow your businesses. And I really hope that makes sense to everybody, and that, we continue to get plenty of people who will come into the live stream and find this thing valuable. Really do.
Graham, he says, Etsy is my sale point, even though my sister has said she has orders for 50 in Tasmania of the Tulips. I'm guessing there, Graham, since you've said you've been selling quite a bit of those, so that's good. If you get a chance, you should branch out into other flowers, but you may not get a chance if you're that popular. That's Graham, that is awesome to hear. For those who don't know, Graham, like I said, just a little over, not even a year now, he's been doing this. And he's having rapid success. That is awesome to hear for you, Graham. We were excited to hear that. That is awesome. And he got that car, too. He traded 2 tulips.
Yeah, and he traded 2 tulips for a car. He's a way better businessman than I am.
Graham?
Yeah.
Let's see. Coffee Forge, where do you get your propane tanks from? Do you fill your own tanks? Is what I'm asking, I guess.
Okay, well, not a business-related question, but my propane tanks I get from McMahon's Bottle Gas. And they're here in Dayton. They're local. You can look them up. And that's where I have them filled at. They're 20-pounders. They got all the way up to 100-pounders and things. And that's where I get my tanks at. And it's a good place. Sometimes places like Tractor Supply and stuff has it a lot cheaper. but I don't like dealing with the people.
Their price fluctuates a lot.
Yeah, their price fluctuates a lot, and I don't like dealing with the wait time at Tractor Supply for somebody to kind of disgruntledly come help you out, fill a tank, right? You go to McMahon's, you pull right in, they fill them. Pretty much you pay and you go right out, man. It's super quick, so I don't care what their price is. I've been doing business with them for a decade, and I continue to do business with them just for that reason. So, yep.
Let's see. Ezekiel Bacon says Bacon's custom blacksmithing. And
awesome.
All the information you guys put out is incredibly useful. I am so happy I found your channel.
Well, Ezekiel Bacon, you're making me hungry, brother. And we are glad to have you as part of the channel. That's awesome.
Thomas Urso, my main work is telephone repair with a workshop on the side for now, LOL. Yeah, you might get inspired by being in this live stream.
Hey, Thomas Urso, that's how it all starts, right? You know, it just starts as a hobby and maybe blossoms into more. And usually what ends up happening is, you know,
it starts overtaking your life. You're like, oh, my free time is blacksmithing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just overtakes your life, and then you're like, why am I going into work today? You know, I've got enough work to do at home, right? So. Yep.
Let's see, Horace Kincannon, I currently don't, but used to have a repair shop.
Okay, well, you've been in business before, so that's good to know.
Billy Hayes, starting a blacksmithing business. Good.
Yep, awesome.
And Roger Charlie, 50 likes.
50 likes, cool.
Good.
Thank you for keeping us updated on the liking. We appreciate that. And all the comments. Thank you all for keeping the comments rolling in the comment section. Well, let's see here. I was wanting to answer somebody. No, oh, that's what I was. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the you know, the working side of things. So I've had several conversations with people about, you know, just getting started selling, putting together a website, putting together your items and things like that. And a lot of people overcomplicate it. That does happen. And it's easy to do, okay? There's a lot of complications to running a business. But one of the things that I like to explain to people the most, and I want you to think about this for a second. If you could sell, say, $100 a week, an extra $100 a week, that's not very hard to do in the ironwork business. It's really not. That is 4 $25 items, right? 4 $25 items a week, right? You just gave yourself a pay raise. So say you got a day job, right? Ask your boss for another $100 a week and see what type of response you get. Maybe if you're underpaid, he'll be like, sure, why not? You're worth it, right? But for most people, it's like, go pound sand, guy. We'll get somebody else.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Like, we'll get somebody else. So just selling 4 items, 4 items a week puts an extra $100 a week in your pocketbook, right? Into your paycheck. You know, and so you can extrapolate that out over 4 weeks, or sometimes a month has 5 weeks. That's an extra $400 to $500 a month that you are making. That's $4,000 for what, 10 months, and let's see here, that's another $1,000 on top. So about $4,800 a year, right? So that's another $4,800 a year you can add to your current income. So let's put that into perspective. Say you're making $36,000 now. You add an extra $4,800. Now all of a sudden, what are you at? You're at 40, right?
Yeah.
My math. Yeah, you're at $40,000 a year. You're making 36. You add another, $4,800 to it. Now you're making $40,000 a year, right? That changes your life, and that's worth doing. That's worth pursuing, right? It is. It is worth pursuing. It allows you to do things that you would have never thought you'd be able to do. Have that extra money to go on vacations, if you want. Buy the tools that you want, right? Like all these really expensive anvils or power hammers or things like that. It will allow you in time to be able to achieve those things. And then you can make even more money on the side. And then maybe you up that ante and maybe you start making $12,000 a year on your side hustle. Ask your boss for a $12,000 a year raise. Right. It's not going to happen. We're talking a nickel, 50 cents an hour raise if you've been there and you've been a good boy or girl for a year. right? And then maybe another 50 cents after that, you know, in 6 to 8 months if you've been a real good boy or girl, right? And you're doing really awesome if you get $1, right? If you get an extra $1 an hour, right? So look at that. On a 40-hour week, that's an extra $40 a week. And after you take out the 21 or 27%, depending on where you're at in your locality and what tax bracket you fall in, once you take out that extra 27% out of that $40, it really don't amount up to a whole lot. So you can do better than what your boss's best is. Just by starting a little side business, a little side item, even if it's just to cover the cost of your forges, it's really, really worth for you all to do. So, if I sell that much, I'm coming to visit you. Right on, Graham. We've got a room for you, brother. You come visit us. So.
Shane Biscuit, welcome. Winter Night Garden, glad you got your charger. Let's see, Mike G had to leave.
Yep. God bless you, Sarah Mike G. Glad you were around. God bless you, God bless you. Glad you're here. So.
Donald Roberts says all the money is okay and business is okay, but don't forget about God. Without God, money wouldn't be here.
Yep, I can definitely ascertain that. Winter Night Warden had to plug in the phone. We understand that. Yeah. We've got a lot of power running here behind the scenes that you guys can't see.
Yes, lots of electricity.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so, you know, again, start a little side hustle if you can. It's not age restrictive, and, you know, chances are you're probably wasting a lot of time in your day when you get home. A lot of people ask, like, do you get people even sleep? We sleep really well, and there's some days that we oversleep, you know, and things like that.
One of those times.
But we are very, very, very big on timing out things, right? And like batch shooting things and figuring out efficiency and where we can be more efficient and things like that, right? So we need to take it, you know, and that's how we do this, right? Like, you know, that's how we can manage all these things. We don't watch Netflix, like we don't have Hulu, we don't do, you know, a bunch of big time wasting TV shows, you know, we don't do a lot of other kind of activities and things and extracurricular things. And that may seem bad to some, right? Like you don't have a life, but we got a great life. It's, you know, it's through those type of blessings that the way we're on the same page, you know, we've been able to go places like Maine, you know, we can pick up and we can go see her family in Colorado, you know, and we can do those things, and we're running this business on the back end, and it's providing us an income while we're gone and we're on vacation and we're doing these sort of things, right? And so we get ours eventually, right? Like we do, but we just don't put a value on time wasting activities, playing video games, you know.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Anyways, so you know those time wasting activities, right? Like we don't, you know, we don't put that on as a high priority on our priority pool, right? Like all that stuff is second. We do business first, right? Or we do our relationship with God first, our relationship with each other second, our relationship with our kids third, and then everything else. You know, business comes next, and then everything else is below that bar. That's extracurricular activities, relationships, outside of our immediate family, things like that. That all comes last. And, you know, and we pick and choose those interactions we want and don't want to have. And yeah, and that's how we're able to take and do it and keep it all together and keep our minds straight, you know, and not have to work like 400 hours a week, you know, and get zero rest.
Yeah, let me go back just a hair here. We'll start here. Shane says, I'm 13 and interested in blacksmithing, and I would like to make some money. We actually had another young man earlier in this live stream, and he was 17 and he was making knives. One thing I would recommend from you that we've heard from another one of our young subscribers is farmers markets, which you'll see a lot of those in the summer. The rent to get into them is really, really cheap. Here in the next town over, it's like $5 to have a table. So that's a really great way of starting, and just make some items and take it.
Yep.
And part of the funnest thing about doing like craft shows or farmers markets, things like that, is just like talking to the other vendors, and like sometimes they'll trade with you and be like, hey, you want to trade, you know, that, and I'll give you this, and it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it could be a lot of fun. Another thing I like to point out to all of you out there, of you young smiths and you guys that are wanting to get into entrepreneurship and you are real young, you are still not of age yet, unfortunately. So you have to make sure you clear this by your folks. You know, get your parents on board. You know, if they're not on board with it, well, it sounds like you got to wait, period. You know, like one of those sort of things. But you got to make sure that you get your parents on board if you're anywhere before the age of 18 here in the United States. It's different in different countries and stuff. The legal age is where you get to make decisions for yourself. But here in the United States, it's the age of 18 and beyond, right? So get it cleared by your parents. Get them on board. I'm pretty sure they're okay with it, because you're not like out there trying to do drugs and stuff, right? Like you're trying to like make something of yourself, and that should be respected, and that is so awesome.
Yes.
And we're glad to have you a part of the channel and have you a part of the trade. So, you know, but yeah, just you know, don't get too wigged out about it. Start again, since you're young, since you're living at home. Things like that. Try to use that money to make the money towards not necessarily providing an income and look at it in that mindset, but look at it as a way of being able to upgrade your tooling right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that really will come in handy later on when you can be efficient in making things. See, he said, yeah, I've learned a lot, but I'm still on a learning curve, but I'm working at it.
Good.
It's just practice.
Practice. You will get there. Trust me, you will get there. I wish I had your sense right now at the age of 13. I didn't.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. Spencer Goose had said, although you can do small projects such as leaves and S-hooks and sell them at fairs. Yep. Those are good ones. Let's see here. Oh, this one. Justin Wells. When do you know it's time to start using a logo? So that's kind of an interesting one.
That's around branding.
Yeah.
It's a good branding.
Yeah. We plan on delving into branding eventually. Technically, we didn't actually have our first formal logo until about a year ago. But I would say if you sold...
registered anyhow. Kind of thing. You know, I would say start branding as soon as you can. As soon as you know that you're settled on your name, on your brand, on your shop, on your forge, that kind of thing, start branding yourself as soon as you can. Whatever your logo is. It can just be a simple script name that's done in a certain type font, and that's your branding.
Yeah.
Or it could actually be a logo. Like everybody's familiar with my Christ Centered Ironworks insignia, right? Like that's kind of our branding. That's kind of like our logo type deal. There's several variations of it, and you can always tweak it as you go along. But I would suggest that you get started very soon on that. And that way you can also, you know, make touch marks and things like that to match. And it just adds an extra level of branding across everywhere you go, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, Snapchat, your own personal websites, stuff like that. You know, you have that logo that people associate with you.
And I do have a video on this. I believe it's a brief one, only 3 or 4 minutes. But if you look for that, creating a logo, just type in on YouTube, Christ Centered Ironworks, creating a logo or making a logo, something like that, it should come up. And I talk a little bit about it there. And also I have a recommendation down in the description for that, for the person who made our logo. And it's inexpensive. It's like $25, I think, at the most. And, they do a really fantastic job. So I can recommend that.
This is a good one I want Jessica to answer. Lou Richards, I want Jessica to answer this one to you because she is the perfect person.
Yeah.
Yep.
She asked, do you have any knowledge or experience with tips to promote your business when you are an introvert and don't have an outgoing person to help? Yeah, I am an introvert, and the fact that I'm even sitting on this camera talking to 40 people would freak me out if you guys were like in the room with me. Somehow I've come to terms with it that I'm just looking at a camera and don't try to imagine everybody in the room all at once.
She's already turning red, so
I know, it's like
that's her defense mechanism.
So promoting your business when you're not an outgoing person. So I guess kind of the shield for me, since it's harder for me to have one-on-one interaction with people, is like just using the internet and using social media, because it doesn't feel like such a confrontation to talk about yourself and to talk about what you're excited about. But also, like, even when you are in person, if you're just talking to somebody in general, like, you know, you never know where it might be, the grocery store or the library or whatever. If you start, like, noticing you are having a conversation and you share common characteristics with a person, like, oh, they're crafty or whatever, like, it kind of just naturally can, like, blossom into a conversation in that way. I would say another way for me is, like, photography, right? Like, telling a story with photography. Like, perhaps you don't have to put that much words with it. It's just the photograph is so striking that it draws people's attention, and you know, perhaps that makes them want to share it, or it's a short video clip or something like that.
Yeah. And, you know, another thing, you know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually used to be an introvert. And this was, like, really early on. This is, like, when I was, like, 15 or so, like 15 and before. I was a severe introvert. You know, if you talked to me, I couldn't look you straight in the eye. I was always looking at my shoes, you know, and kind of, like, peering up from them, you know, kind of looking at you like I had been whooped or something, right? Like, so, like, I used to be a real severe introvert, but then I did some heating and air conditioning with my dad. And one of my very first jobs, I went out with him. It was the second job we ever were out on, the second day of work. He showed us the whole intro. Hi, you know, I'm so-and-so from Parkey's Heating and Air. That was the company we were working for at the time, right? It's like, I'm so-and-so, this is what we're here. Well, it looks like we've got you on schedule to install this furnace or whatever, okay? I don't remember the exact thing. But there was kind of like a jargon that she used. And then, you know, of course, I was just standing kind of like looking at my pockets, you know, kind of thing, afraid to say hi. Well, the second day, my dad, he gave me the immersive experience. He gave me the clipboard, and he said, you're going to do the intro today. And I got a splash course in it. And so sometimes, even though it may be uncomfortable, it's necessary for your own personal growth and development to just put yourself out there. The biggest scare that I was is that I wasn't going to say the right thing, or I wasn't going to, you know, I wasn't going to connect with somebody, or they were going to think I was weird, or, you know, or they were going to, at that time, 15, you know what I mean? So that I was like, man, they're going to be able to tell how young I am, right? They're not going to take me seriously. You know, those sort of things. You know, but you have to take and throw yourself out there so you can get that feedback. And not all feedback's good feedback. And, you know, some of it's just criticism and it's just garbage, and you just got to throw it out of your mind. But you got to put yourself out there eventually. And so some people, the splash course works. Other people, like Jessica, you know, her method works. So there's no right and wrong way. So
yeah, I still can't call myself an extrovert.
Okay. What do we got here?
Let me go back just a little bit. It looks like it's a comment thread. Let's see. I think it's Shane. Yeah, I was at a craft fair and I was only interested in woodworking, but I did make about $130, and that was the most money I've ever had.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, that's a good.
That is awesome. That's a great start. That's a great start. But here,
Spencer said woodworking is also a good trade.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good blacksmithing and woodworking. You can get some really good combinations using the two crafts together, as well as leatherworking.
You both look better than I do, so you can be happy you're not having to see me. That's funny. Awesome. So, all right. So it looks like we are about 18 minutes. Yeah, you're welcome, Lou Richards. Thank you all. Thank you so much for being a part of this live stream and asking a great question. So we're about 18 minutes away from the conclusion of this live stream. If anybody has any sort of, business chats that you want, where you want us to review your business, for super chats 25 and up, or if you just want to ask us a question right here in the comment section, now is kind of the time, so we could try to get through them as timely as we can before the end of our 2 hours is up. So now's the time to do that. If you have any burning questions, go ahead and load them up in the chat now. Also, I'd like to remind you, if you're just joining us, to like the stream. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And also, if you enjoy this type of content, you may want to consider subscribing. We put out 2 new videos every single day. and we do a Friday night live stream where we do forging. Live forging, for anybody that's interested in that this is your first time to our channel or to the stream. You know, last Friday night, we went ahead and did that, we did chain links. I made a length of 7 chain links all together.
And I made my first forge weld.
Yeah, she made her first forge weld, so that was awesome in that live stream. So it was a pretty good way.
Yeah. And for those of you who are interested in business as well, down in the description, there is some links to our 3 at 3 playlist, which is like our short little 3-minute business tips we do every day. I think we have 66 of those currently. And then we also have a business of blacksmithing playlist that has about 45 videos, and that has all kinds of topics. You know, dealing with customers, you know, the logos, starting an Etsy shop. There's all kinds of stuff there if you have not yet seen that.
So I want to say goodbye to Andrew Freeman. We'll catch you later. Thank you for catching it on the replay as well. That'll be great. That'll be published right after we're done here. So let's hear.
Gary Brown, Forging on High from Tennessee. Enjoy the videos. Been doing blacksmith work for now about 4 years. I do it part-time.
Awesome. It's good to find another part-timer out there. So there's a lot of part-timers on the channel. So that's awesome. Chris Cornett.
Donald. Oh, right down here.
Oh, you can do Donald Roberts.
Sure. Okay. I was just gonna say Shane. Yeah, it's back.
Yeah, that's somebody else.
Chris Cornett, what is the best advice when doing a craft show besides not having a free candy bowl, and do you have a video for this? We have
a 3-minute 3 talking about craft shows, but we don't have we don't have a specific one.
We did one last year, a full length one. I think it's about 10 or 12 minutes, and you'll find that one in the Business of Blacksmithing
playlist section
there.
Yep. But let's go ahead and give them kind of the best advice we can do on doing a craft show. So on a craft show, if you got a pick of like a table, try to pick somewhere centrally located as a central hub, and pick somewhere close to food. Go pick somewhere close to food if you're at a craft show, or even if you're at a street fair or street vendor. Try to get as close to the food court as you can. That's generally a place where people go to snack out, right? And like get their food, and while they're standing there, they might as well watch a live demonstration or come by and say hi, right? Like if you're in there, that's a high traffic area. And a lot of craft shows already know this, so they actually mark the prices up where it's closer to the food court and things. But it's worth that extra traffic to go there. If at all possible, don't get set up in a back alleyway or down a hall or off the beaten path. And also, people find it too abrasive. A lot of people think you want to be right by the front door. People find it too abrasive to be sold something just as soon as they enter the building. So stray away from that. They gotta get used to mingling. They gotta get used to mingling. They want to make a trip around before they make the make a buying decision. So as they come through the door, don't try to hit them up right out the gate. If you are placed by the door, wait until they try to leave, right? That way, you know, that can happen. But the best place, right around the food court or centrally located if you can.
I was going to say, another really big thing on this is getting people to like pick up and touch stuff. Like once they hold it, they have a much higher chance of actually buying something. Some of the stuff that's been the most popular at ours is like a pair of dice. Like younger kids will like to look at those. They like, you know, just holding it. A rasp asp, if you've seen those before. You know, just the texture on that, and like if you have an actual rasp on hand, you can say, hey, this was made from this, and you can give a little of the backstory on that if you're not allowed to demonstrate. And another one is the rose trick. If you sell metal roses, go ahead and put a piece of felt in there with a few rose scented drops, and somebody can look at that. Oh, that's so pretty. You say, it actually smells like a rose. And they're like, really? Are you kidding me? And they smell it. They can't see the felt. And they're like, wow, this smells like a rose. And
very few people will say, that doesn't smell like a rose.
There's a few that'll say,
there'll be a few stinkers like that, but a lot of people will agree right along with you that it smells like a rose. So, you know, it's just an added little touch, and a lot of people will buy just based upon that. So.
Yes.
Yep. Any other? Winter Night Warden, thanks for your tips and tricks. It helps a lot. Well, we're glad it's very helpful for you, Winter Night, and thank you for being part of the live stream.
Tim Rollins, thanks. Awesome job on the big dog touch mark. Watched him unpack it last night.
Yeah, well, thank you. So, yeah, I only screwed up one thing, and that was the name of Big. Like, I was trying to put Big in there, and it turned out as Gib. So that's the problem whenever you're taking engraving on a minute scale, and like you have to remember that whatever you're cutting in is going to be flopped in reverse. So I wrote the letters in the wrong way. Essentially, I wrote the way it made sense from the engraver's perspective, but then when you stamped it, it's Gib. So
Shane says, my parents always talked about getting a forge and blacksmithing, but now I have one. They don't want to do it anymore, so that kind of sucks. Convince them with free gifts. Mm-hmm. Make your mom some hooks, and your dad some like little, organizer things for his yard tools, and you'll win them over.
Yeah, start making some things for the home around there. Yep. I'm sure they'll love it. So we're at the bottom. No?
There we go.
See ya. Yep, that would be good. So,
Donald Roberts, I made some stuff out of tree limbs that have fallen in my neighbor's yard. They usually don't mind if you want to clear their yard of tree limbs. Yeah,
yep,
that's a good way
to
get some.
Helping out a neighbor, you can't beat that. So, Alrighty. Well, I think we're good, huh?
Yeah, I think we're caught up on comments.
I think we're caught up on comments. Unless anybody has any pressing comments for us or questions. We've got about 10 minutes left in this live stream, so make sure to put them in there if you have any more questions about business. We might have just tapped everybody out for the evening. 2 hours of live streaming. Your brains are saturated. That may be a very good thing. So, but before we go, I guess I'll just spend last couple minutes here. We'll answer Junk Monkey here real quick, and then I'll spend a few minutes talking about kind of our beliefs about business and entrepreneurship, and we'll kind of finish that out with that, and we'll share a little bit about us when it comes to that. So go ahead, honey.
All right, Junk Monkey says, how would you figure in the price of any repurposed materials you may use?
I don't go that elaborate with my pricing. So there's some things, I just count that as a bonus if I didn't have to buy it. So, if I got a load of free scrap where I got like a whole bunch of something I use on a regular basis, I charge the same. I charge the same as if I was using new materials. Because again, that price can't jump around because, say somebody comes in and they buy something for $65, but then a week later you post it at $55, they're going to feel hosed, right? And so, you got to come up with what it is that you want to price something at and keep it right there. And then if you get scrap material and you can make that same product out of scrap material and it doesn't hurt the quality, that's a key there. If it doesn't hurt the quality of it, then that's just a bonus, that's extra overhead that you didn't have to cough up. So I don't factor scrap materials into pricing. Scrap is scrap. If you want to factor it in at your local scrapyard, what they'll give you for it. And then kind of estimate how much poundage you used or weigh out the item. And you say, okay, well, I used 52 pounds of scrap. Okay, well, 52 pounds of scrap would be $1.50, right? That's at the local scrapyard, depending on what you buy, right? So that would be my advice to you.
Coffee's Forge, see ya all. Thanks for the great help.
And we'll see you at Coffee's Forge. Thank you for stopping by.
Horace Kincannon, thanks for the valuable information. I have some honeydews. God bless.
Horace, thank you for staying with us to the end. God bless you as well.
Donald Roberts from Southeast Missouri. I have to say good night and God bless.
God bless you, Donald Roberts. Thank you for being here once again. Thank you for supporting the channel with that. So that is awesome to have you all in the stream. So, all right, well, let's take a few minutes here at the end of this little stream here to take and start winding down and tell just a little bit more about our philosophy on business and things. And I think it's pretty clear and apparent that we really do believe that you can do it. We believe that if we can do it and we can overcome all the things that we've done in the last decade of business that we've been doing, that you can too. We've been doing this for 9 years, coming up on 10, it'll be 10 years next year. So we've done this for officially 9 years, and it's a great it's a great thing to get into. It started small as a hobby, and then it slowly blossomed into the huge blessing that it is on our life as a full-time income, and me being a full-time blacksmith and artisan. So I want to share a few thoughts about that before we go.
Yeah, sure. We really did. When Roy started forging about 10 years ago or a little more, because we didn't actually start into the business side right away. He just did forging for fun. And perhaps there's already something already in your life that you're using as a hobby. It doesn't have to be blacksmithing. But whatever your hobby is, that is a valuable skill to you that you can use to make some extra money, like Roy's mentioned earlier in this stream. And, perhaps that's actually making products, or perhaps that's just sharing your knowledge with other people who are interested in learning more about that.
Yeah, and, again, it can constantly have a blessing more than you know. And again, a lot of people, you get satisfied in life, you kind of do the humdrum thing, you go to work, you eat at the same place every day for lunch, you have the same coffee every day on the drive into work or whatever, your poison is, maybe you smoke a cigarette, maybe you're, whatever it is, you got your morning routine, right? And you get rutted out in life and you just kind of continue on. And then you have those bad days with the boss, right? Or you have those bad days where you just really should have stayed in bed, but you know what? You need that all-important paycheck. And this is why I say that, everybody should have some sort of little side hustle. Everybody should have some little side business, because it's a really great and awesome thing when you can, tell your boss that you're not coming in today because, you feel sick, right? You're just sicker than a dog. And you're like, well, you got to get in here or else, right? Or she is. You got to get in here or else. Well, if you're making money on the side, that idle threat about your livelihood isn't oddly that much more important anymore. You start realizing that, life isn't just about strictly work, right? It's about relationships, and it's about being around, and it's about taking care of yourself, because you only get 3 spins on this rock. You get your first 30 years, you get your second 30 years, and you're lucky if you get another 30 years beyond that. You are just darn lucky and blessed, and you better count your lucky stars on that one, right? Yeah. That's it. You count your blessings, whatever you believe in there, you just count them, right? That you get that last spin on the face of this earth. Yeah. And so, it's so much more than going to a job that you hate or that you can't stand. Maybe you love your job. That's great. There's a lot of people who don't. And so if you don't love your job, if you want to do something else with your life, you have to get started. And the best way to do that is to start something online and just start letting it build up till it takes over.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we don't encourage anybody to just up and quit their job and start into blacksmithing full time if you weren't previously set up to make that jump and that change. Instead, as we've experienced ourselves, it is a growing process. As somebody mentioned earlier, they had started their Etsy store earlier and have had 9 sales. So you don't just pop up 10 items on your Etsy store and they sell that same week. It just doesn't work that way. It takes time to get the exposure and for the websites and stuff to start giving you ranking and search and things like that.
I'm going to give you a power tip for all those that have stayed with us. We've got 34 people watching. You guys are about to be real blessed. I hope you're paying attention real quick. Here's going to be a power tip for you, okay? About if you want to start having a side business that outruns your annual income that you have at your day job and at your work, and it makes you wake up every morning and doubt the validity of you going into work today. The best thing you can do is not focus on the now, okay? That's the biggest mistake in business. You focus now, or you focus on the past, what worked good in the past, or what's working good right now, and you don't prep for the future, okay? So if you are right now in summer and you don't have summer products already made, it's not too late. You can get them there, but usually you're late. You're late to market. Start working now on those fall products. Yeah. Start working now on those things and get them in your store. And once those are up there, don't worry if they sell or not. Make more product. Put it in your store. And you constantly do that. Constantly. Just picture yourself like the little engine that could, and just keep pumping away at those supposed imaginary orders. And you're going to get people to laugh at you. And you're going to have people like, oh yeah, well you ain't made a sale yet, right? But those orders are going to start coming back. You're planting seed. No farmer plants a seed and expects an instant harvest. He doesn't just sprinkle a little magic juice and plunk. There's all his income, right? He waits months in months and months, right, of waiting until he can get that harvest and pay his bills, right? So you need to do the same thing, and that's my power tip for you. If you're starting and you're thinking about starting, I don't care if you're starting with S-hooks and a hook, a simple thing, an elaborate thing for your business, make it, fire and forget. Fire and forget. Because if you don't do that, you get caught up on the weight game. Well, I made this, I'm not going to make anything more until that axe sells that I made. And that right there is going to hurt you the most in your business.
Yeah.
So get in, make that axe, throw it up there. Make some spoons, throw it up there. Get in there, make some S-hooks, throw it up there. Get in there, make some Christmas ornaments, throw it up there. Just constantly fill your shop, and you will see a return on that. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
So that's going to be it for this live stream. And thank you all so much. We feel so blessed that you all came out here and supported us in the live stream. Thank you to everyone who gave out super chat donations. We greatly appreciate you all as well.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much.
Just once again, God bless you all out there. God bless you in your business. We really hope you enjoyed this. And remember, we'll be doing these every Monday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check back for those. And don't forget to get our Friday night live streams that we do with our forging demonstration, and come check out what we're doing there as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So, all right, well, that's it for this live stream. God bless you all. Thank you all so much for being here, and we will catch you on the next one.